Wanted to talk about drywells really quick. I want to point out a bunch of things. Okay, so we have two 30-inch drywells. These are really big drywells. They're 30 inches in diameter. This is not a 24. These are 30s. So we have a 30 to 18 reducer. We can service it through an 18-inch cover opposed to putting a giant cover, you know, just something really big and just an eyesore. You don't want the homeowner to have to look at this. So again, 30 inches to 18, that's a reducer that's welded together and it's custom. Now, if you're a homeowner or a contractor and you want some of these built, just call the office and we'll quote them. We do custom builds all the time, and we do have some stock ones. We have 3 sizes that we always have on inventory. Now we have a balance tube connecting these two. It's for debate whether it's needed or not, and I'll tell you why, because these are full of holes. They're completely perforated. You can see the guys drilled holes, rows of holes. Now you need to have an overflow. You have to have an overflow. Now, how do you plan for your overflow? You have to be able to take your overflow to lower ground. Now here's the most important part about any drywell installation. Never take your drywell to the lowest point and put it there. Never. Never ever do that. You want your drywell to be upgraded a little bit. That way you can put an overflow to the low area. During the really wet time of the year, this sump pump system and French drain system might overwhelm these drywells. Well, you can see we got two 30-inch drywells, so, you know, we're trying to take care of the capacity that this homeowner is going to need. Having said that, if the drywells fill up to the top, you still need a place for the water to go. So we use a 3.5-inch line. You see how the guys went ahead and they got a rubber compression fitting, nice gasket. So you guys are familiar with this. You take a 4.5-inch hole saw, put in that rubber gasket, slip in the 3.5-inch pipe. You end up with a beautiful, beautiful fit. Really nice. So this is two 30-inch drywells that are 48 inches deep. This should handle 85% of what we get for rain and precipitation. Now for those oh shoot moments, it'll get up on its overflow. And over here we have a pop-up emitter. And this could puddle, no big deal, because after the rain event, this will slowly leach into the subsurface soil. But that'll be the only time that there's ever water here, is extreme thunderstorms where you just get, 3 inches of rain in a matter of a few hours, that kind of thing. Now the sump pump is active, so we don't want the sump pump just to come out here to a pop-up, because this is always going to be wet. It's always going to be hard to mow. Your pets, your children, they're going to be walking in this spongy area. That's no good. So the sump pump will run throughout the day, however many times it cycles. This will prevent a wet area, an area in the yard that you can no longer use because your sump pump is discharging, whether it's every half hour, every 2 hours, it don't matter. It makes a mess. So this is fantastic for sump pump systems. This absolutely works. We got an 18 because a man can still go down there. So what are you for Halloween, Francisco? I'm just wondering what that costume is you're wearing. All right, beautiful, beautiful, man. Love it, guys. One time we did an installation of two 24-inch drywells. We had solid 24-inch covers on them. Homeowner comes out into the back of his yard. He looks at those and he says, "Oh, you're not leaving it like that, are you? Like, I'm not going to have to look at those big covers." I was like, okay, what do we got to do to improve the vanity side of our system? And that's when we came up with this just weld together reducers. And in this case, we went to a 30-inch drywell. This reducers to an 18-inch cover. My whole career has been problem solution. We're providing a service for homeowners. But if we put a 24-inch cover in their yard and they don't like it, we have to come up with a solution. The 18-inch cover seems to be more palatable to the homeowners because we do not get any complaints. You can get in and out of these with a hoodie and winter coats all layered up. So the serviceability is still there. Perfect. So the guys are taking a 4-inch Y and they're putting our 4 to 3.5 inch reducer on it. We're running two 3.5 inch lines. One's for a French drain, another one's for downspout. We're going to put it in one 4-inch discharge line. This is how you do that. Guys are doing a really good job. All right, so it's quite muddy, but I'm going to show you what we got. The guys are using the wide clips. My guys are just big fans of the wide clips. Sure, you got to use the narrow clips when you got a quad pack on the side. And I know if you use the narrow clips and you got the tubes close to each other, you have a bigger void between the two pipes. Real nice big void. But my guys like to have some stone roll and get underneath the pipe. Not as in underneath and lifting it, but literally when you have these wide clips, the 1/4 inch, the 1/2 inch, the 3/4 inch stone, it just rolls and it goes under like this. Just rolls, supports the pipe. Now, it doesn't matter who drives on this. Big lawnmowers, you might have a tree service come in and remove a tree. And they'll bring, you know, an all-wheel drive stumper back here and who knows what else. So my guys like these wide clips. We use a 9-inch bucket, and the breakout that a 9-inch bucket gives you is a little bit bigger than 9 inches, but it works really good for the 3.5 inch pipe, even with the wide clips. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. It supports the channel. If you have any questions about yard drainage, leave them in the comments section. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until the next video.